What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WrestleRant Ranks, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, every single Monday do power rankings, tier lists, quizzes. And today, ahead of SummerSlam coming up in a few short weeks, we're going to be doing every John Cena SummerSlam match, ranking them from worst to best, S to D, here on tierlistmaker.com. Shout out to the person who created this tier list, yours truly. I actually put together this tier list, the first tier list I've actually done and made myself since the first episode of the show back in January, where I ranked all the Raw theme songs. Shockingly, as I saw a tier list of a certain individual's, a certain superstar's SummerSlam matches that you can rank on tierlistmaker.com. And I was going to do that one, but then I thought, well, that person's not on SummerSlam this year. John Cena is. He's had a slew of SummerSlam matches dating back to 2004. So I thought, what better episode to do here today. And next week, what I'm planning on doing, by the way, is ranking every SummerSlam main event. So stay tuned for that here on the show coming up next week. But today I thought, with John Cena headlining his final SummerSlam coming up this year in the first weekend of August at MetLife Stadium, which I'm hoping to be in attendance for, I thought, what better episode, what would be more fitting for this episode than to do a tier list of every John Cena SummerSlam match in the last 21 years. So you can find this list over at tierlistmaker.com. Fill it out for yourself. Let me know what you think. I'll include the link in the description box if you want to fill it out for yourself. Also in the description box, you can find out more information on how to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass member. You get videos like this and other videos here on the channel early and ad-free before anyone else. $5 a month gets you perks like that. Shout-outs at the beginning and end of every live stream that we do here on the channel. Badges and emojis and the live chats. So much more. And more information on how to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass channel member down below in the description box. But if you simply want to check out the show and support the channel by just liking the video and subscribing, that would also be greatly appreciated as well. You can hit that bell button to be notified every single time we go live here on the channel and every single time we upload new content, including new episodes of WrestleRant Ranks every single Monday. More episodes available in the description box down below. So let's get right into it. I tried to do it in chronological order of every SummerSlam match that John Cena has had. For whatever reason, when I uploaded these images, they were uploaded out of order. So I tried to do my best, but we'll actually go in order to kind of remember, what was going on at that time, the context of each match, and my own personal feelings towards each one. So his first SummerSlam match, he debuted in 2002. He was not on SummerSlam in 02 or 03. His first SummerSlam match was SummerSlam 2004 against Booker T in a best-of-5 series for the United States Championship. Now, I don't know if this was for the vacant title. I think Booker T was the champion at this point, according to this image. I honestly, genuinely don't remember. This was the first of 5 matches that they had. It was like a 6-minute match. It was totally fine. I'm probably going to put this in the C category just because it pales in comparison to other matches that he's gone on to have at SummerSlam. And I think he ended up actually winning that match as well, leading the series 1-0 at that point. But pretty unspectacular matchup. They would have better matches together. This was not the 5th match in the best-of-5 series. Pretty forgettable stuff. I've probably seen that match only a few times. I know at least once when I reviewed SummerSlam 2003, a very long time ago here on the channel. I'm not sure how many times I've seen it since, but a pretty forgettable match compared to some of the other matches here on the list. SummerSlam 2005 was really where he started to see his stock skyrocket as the WWE champion. He had just won his first world championship in the form of the WWE title at WrestleMania 21 earlier that year. At SummerSlam 05, he was coming off the feuds with Christian and Chris Jericho. He had beaten the both of them in a triple threat match of vengeance 2 months prior to this pay-per-view. Christian was kind of slowly shifted out, phased out of the title picture. It remained Jericho and Cena. Jericho turned heel on Cena, wanted that shot at SummerSlam. Jericho was nearing the end of his contract. I think a lot of people watching the product at that point probably knew, and I wasn't, so I can't really speak to that. But I think a lot of people probably knew at that point Jericho was on his way out. So the idea of him taking the title from Cena probably wasn't going to happen. He ended up beating Jericho not only on this show, but I think also in the next night's Raw in a loser leaves WWE match where Jericho got fired. Not only did he lose the WWE Championship match 2 days in a row, but he also had to leave the company to explain his actual departure from WWE. But he got a nice headlining match at SummerSlam out of it. I don't think it was the main event, but they did clash for the WWE Championship nonetheless. So that was a good match. Again, he would have better matches. I'll probably put this in the B category. I might shift some of these around depending on my thoughts on them. But, in retrospect, it was a good match. Not one of Cena's best matches as WWE Champion during that reign, that year-long reign, or He would go on to lose it in January to Edge via the Money in the Bank cash-in, but a good match, not among his best, but a good match nonetheless. SummerSlam 2006, he was in the midst of that great feud with Edge over the WWE Championship. This show was in Boston, and Cena still got booed. They did not want to see him regain the WWE Championship that Edge just got back from winning a triple threat match with Cena and Rob Van Dam on Raw about a month prior. This was a very good match. They had great chemistry. You had Lita in the corner of Edge. I've seen this match a few different times. Not only when I reviewed the 2006 SummerSlam event many years ago, but also I remember it being available in my first year as a wrestling fan, 2008, Xfinity On Demand, whatever it was, Comcast at that point. They had free SummerSlam matches available. And if they weren't free, they were probably like $2 a piece. And now you can get all the matches for fucking $10 a month, obviously, on Peacock. Or most of them anyway. But anyway, I remember watching the match even at that point, being enamored with the environment that Cena found himself in as being the hometown guy, being from Mass, and they still fucking booed him. They wanted Edge to retain the championship. I thought their match at Unforgiven, the TLC match, was better than this. This was still a very, very good match. I'll probably put this in the A category. Again, I might move it down to B. It kind of depends on where everything else lands. But I'll put this in A for now because I thought Edge and Cena had great chemistry. We talked about Cena's best rivals before. Edge is among Cena's greatest rivals. Spoiler alert, we did a whole tier list on that a few weeks ago, I think it was. I think it was a few months ago, around WrestleMania time. And their matches never ceased to deliver, including this encounter at SummerSlam 2006. We fast forward to SummerSlam 2007. John Cena defends the WWE Championship that he won from Edge. Actually, the following month at Unforgiven, he would go on to hold that championship for an entire calendar year before having to vacate it. He was probably going to lose it anyway at No Mercy. But he had to vacate it days before No Mercy due to an injury. That would have been October of 2007. During the feud with Randy Orton. Orton was credited in storyline with injuring John Cena. Their first match on pay-per-view at that point was at SummerSlam 2007. Again, a good match. I've seen people... I don't know if I saw something recently saying that, this was Cena's best SummerSlam match, which obviously is not fucking true. Or maybe their best match together. I think people were saying when they were having their matches, they had their last match a few months ago at Backlash 2025, and people were saying, their best match together was SummerSlam. That is not true. I think this is a good match. It's not all that memorable. I will put it above the Jericho match. I didn't think it's better than that. It was their best, I don't want to say pure wrestling match like they're fucking mat technicians, but no bullshit, no million kickouts of finishers, no shenanigans, just a straight up wrestling match. Their Iron Man match was better. I actually enjoyed the Backlash match this year more than this one, even though that had all the bullshit and shenanigans and whatnot. This was a very good match and a great showing for Orton, who was a former World Heavyweight Champion by this point, having won the title at that exact show 3 years earlier. But it was just a very good match between two up-and-coming guys in WWE at that point on the Raw roster. Cena retains, and a very good match. So I'll put it at top of B. Not a classic, but a very good match nonetheless. SummerSlam 2008, this might be a hot take. I love the match with Batista. It is a classic Titan versus Titan matchup, and not in the sense where they're two heavyweights, but neither Batista nor Cena will ever be mistaken for being an in-ring technician, like I joked about with Orton and Cena. Batista was not this 5-star mat wrestling classic type of guy. He did have 5-star matches, though, with Triple H. Another guy where they just had this great chemistry together. I thought Cena and Batista also always had great chemistry together. And I'm biased because I started watching WWE in 2008, and I remember this feud very fondly. But this was during the point where Batista got drafted at Raw. They talked about how their careers were kind of on a parallel path, and Batista was kind of jealous towards Cena for becoming the guy of WWE, whereas Batista was shafted over on SmackDown, and he was the guy on SmackDown, but now he was 1B on Raw. And neither of them were the fucking world champion at this point, by the way. You see in that graphic, this one right here, they're both world tag team champion, but neither of them, they actually did not hold those world tag team titles for long. They lost them. They won them a couple weeks before SummerSlam and then lost them on the go home show a week later on Raw back to Team Priceless, that being Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. But nonetheless, I really, really enjoy this match. This match is a guilty pleasure of mine. I enjoyed all their matches in 2010 as well. And I really enjoy Batista as an underrated rival for John Cena. I'm going to put this in the A category. The Edge match is probably better as a match. Him and Batista were not going in there exchanging hold for hold and submissions and shit. I mean, there was the STF and stuff like that. But as the first time ever encounter, it lived up to the hype. It was a fun match. The crowd was into it. And above all else, Batista won clean, something you did not see all that often at that point in John Cena's career. A big, emphatic win for Batista to kind of send John Cena packing. He got hurt and was off the Raw roster for a few months after that to go rehabilitate the injury he suffered in this match on the Batista bomb. When Cena came off the top rope, Batista slammed him kind of into a Batista bomb in midair, and that was enough to injure John Cena's neck. And he was only back fucking 3 months later, because of course he would be. But I love that match. That's going in the A category for me personally. SummerSlam '09 was a rare rematch for John Cena at SummerSlam against Randy Orton in a SummerSlam rematch from 2 years earlier. This was not as good as their SummerSlam '07 match. I actually really do not care for this match at all. John Cena and Randy Orton had a fuck ton of matches in 2009, specifically on pay-per-view. Many on TV, but a lot on pay-per-view. They legitimately feuded and exchanged wins, exchanged the WWE Championship on pay-per-view 4 consecutive times. And that's without triple threats. Like, they had a triple threat at Night of Champions in 2009, not even including that. They had matches at SummerSlam, Breaking Point, which was the I Quit match, Hell in the Cell, the Hell in the Cell match, of course, and Bragging Rights, which was the Iron Man match. And to me, those matches got progressively better. That's why I say when people say that Cena and Orton at '07 SummerSlam is their best match, that's actually far from true. I think the I Quit match is better. I think the Iron Man match is better. I actually even really enjoy the Hell in the Cell match as well. So the SummerSlam '09 match was not it for me. It's a no for me, dog. I just did not really like that match. All the bullshit too, like they restarted the match maybe 3 or 4 times. Orton got counted out. He got DQ'd. You had interference from Ted DiBiase's brother, who I think is also in jail right now, along with the other members of the DiBiase family, or will be at some point. Because I think the rumor was that he was going to get called up with the Legacy, but he never did. He actually got kept down in FCW, did not get called up, and then got fired, left the company, whatever. So I don't like the Orton match. That's going in D for me. It's probably a perfectly serviceable match, but if you're going to watch any Orton-Cena match, it would not be that one. I'm sorry. There are other matches later in the year I thought were better than this, including weeks later at Breaking Point, the one and only Breaking Point pay-per-view. We go to 2010, and this started off a stretch of John Cena's, like a very stellar stretch of matches for John Cena at SummerSlam. Including, this match specifically, not really, but the other ones to come, yes. So SummerSlam 2010 was the infamous incident of John Cena and the rest of Team WWE versus the Nexus. Now, in a nutshell, it wasn't a bad match. They utilized the elimination stipulation, which actually made the match more exciting, more meaningful, with people getting eliminated one by one. You had the return of Daniel Bryan right before the bell rang, which was cool. We had not seen him since the Nexus original attack on Raw a few months earlier, and then he got fired, and then he was brought back as part of Team WWE. That was cool. You had John Morrison in there, R-Truth, Jericho, Edge, Bret Hart, who didn't really do a whole bunch, but he was also attacked by the Nexus on Raw a few months earlier, so he stood up for Team WWE. And the Nexus consisted of everyone that was in the original Nexus. So the match is fine. I really don't love this match, and honestly, what will put it in the C category for me over the Booker match, because it's definitely more memorable and a better match than that. But what really kills this match for me, legitimately, is the outcome. Like, it wasn't as if it was this in-ring classic. They built up something great with the Nexus, and they not immediately, that would imply that it was like weeks later. Within 2 months, they vanquished it. They ruined it. They erased any momentum these guys had by having John Cena eliminate, I think it was Gabriel and Barrett, back-to-back immediately, fucking burying these guys. And even guys like Jericho and Edge, who were on Team WWE, advocated for the Nexus to win. And Cena said that his way to go was the right way to go. He immediately regretted it, according to Edge and Cena, on their podcast like a decade ago. It's just funny looking back on it. But the match is good. I enjoy the match for the stakes that it had. But that finish is just so fucking dumb, even 15 years on. It makes no sense. The SummerSlam match with CM Punk the following year, with Triple H as the special guest referee, was much better. Much better match. Not as good as their Money in the Bank match, obviously, from a month earlier. But this was where Punk rushed back to the company within 8 days of leaving the company. Still WWE champion. John Cena had won the vacant title in his absence from Rey Mysterio. What an asshole for doing that. I kid. And that set up the champion versus champion match at SummerSlam. Now, the addition of Triple H as the referee was kind of wonky. They had Cena's foot still on the rope, and that's why CM Punk retained. So I guess they did that to explain why Cena would lose and protect him in defeat. He really didn't have to lose again. He really could have benefited from losing clean, but whatever. Still thought the match was excellent nonetheless. This is going to be an A match for me. I'm going to put it below the Batista match. I do think the Batista match is great. And also had a clean finish. This one did not. This one was followed up on with Del Rio cashing in, Kevin Nash returning and attacking CM Punk. Just a wild way to close the show, which I actually very much enjoyed. Did effectively end the Summer of Punk unceremoniously, but nonetheless, a great match. So I'll put that at the bottom of A for now. And obviously their Money in the Bank match, like I mentioned, was remembered more fondly and understandably so. SummerSlam 2012, a good triple threat, not a great match. It was Cena and Punk once more. Punk had gotten the belt back a few months after 2011 SummerSlam at Survivor Series, and that kicked off his 434-day run as WWE Champion. And then during that run, he had this match at SummerSlam. He just turned heel a few weeks earlier. Big Show was hot in contention for the championship for some fucking reason. He got pinned here by Punk, and that's how Punk retained. So, I mean, they actually had to restart the match at one point because I think both Punk and Cena were tapping out Big Show, which was kind of dumb. Big Show was only in there to take the fall. It was very dumb that Big Show was even in the match, but whatever. Cena and Punk had their match on Raw 1000 a few weeks earlier that Big Show interfered in, so that's why this match was a triple threat. Again, like I said, good triple threat. Hard to go wrong with Punk and Cena, but Big Show being in there, like, why? You know what I mean? Like, it was a good match, and I was very happy with the outcome. I was actually genuinely worried that John Cena might win. God forbid the Big Show fucking win the WWE title. But, you know, they've had far better encounters one-on-one. So I'll put this at the bottom of B. SummerSlam 2013 is one of John Cena's very best SummerSlam matches. That being him and Daniel Bryan at, is that even on here? It is. Okay, I had to make sure I included every match. I made all the graphics up myself, like I found all the images, so have to make sure I didn't skip anything. But him and Bryan is S tier. WWE Championship, Triple H, a special guest referee. Such a great match. Daniel Bryan winning clean. Like, unlike at SummerSlam 2 years earlier, where Triple H was the referee for a John Cena title defense, he did not factor into the finish of the match. Now, he did factor into the post-match, which made more sense, with him turning heel, Orton turning heel, the cash-in, Bryan being screwed out of the title. All of that was amazing. That was an amazing ending to SummerSlam. And, you know, I just thought it was a great match. They just worked so well together, and I don't think they ended up having a rematch, actually. I don't think we ever ended up getting Cena and Bryan again. I know they had a match on Velocity like fucking 20 years ago. They also had a match on Raw in 2012. But beyond those two matches, I don't think they ever had a match after this one. But a great way to end it, though, on top with Bryan beating Cena and Cena never avenging that loss, which is kind of crazy, actually, in retrospect. But an amazing match nonetheless, and a big win for Daniel Bryan. So that's one of his very best matches. SummerSlam 2013 in general is one of the best SummerSlams, period, to me. So that's going in the S tier. We immediately follow that up with SummerSlam 2014, the very famous match with Brock Lesnar, where Brock Lesnar takes his time decimating John Cena. Honestly, this gets S tier. Not as far as being, like, as a match, it's nothing compared to Cena and Bryan. But, like, as far as being a spectacle, this match was awesome. This match was fantastic. Bryan, or rather Brock, just completely decimating, dominating, eviscerating John Cena. Limb by limb, just killing this dude until he emphatically hits another F5 to beat this man for the WWE Championship. And Cena had to valiantly power out. You would think Cena would power out or pull out the win in the end after Brock dominated most of it. That would have been awful, but instead it turned into a glorified squash. I had never seen Cena be squashed this way before in my life. Ever before in his career had this ever happened the way that it did, at least in his time on top as a main eventer. And that's what made it so special. People still talk about that to this day as being such a special SummerSlam main event. For them to even do this match and to have it end the show and to close that way really gave Brock, honestly, maybe even more of an aura than what he gained from Undertaker losing his streak. Because that was more about Undertaker's streak. This was all about Brock. Like, the focus was entirely on Brock with this one. So, again, I got to put this in S tier. This was just, the way that this was executed was phenomenal. This is really the stretch of great SummerSlam matches, because you go from 2013 to 2014 to 2015 with Seth Rollins. Champion versus champion match, two very good champions since WrestleMania that year, and WrestleMania 31, in addition to Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank, becoming WWE champion, pulling off the heist of the century. You also had John Cena kicking off one of the most prosperous periods for that United States Championship ever, in what started the US Open Challenge the very next night on Raw. And they wanted to have great matches during that run with Dean Ambrose, Rusev, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, among many other people on the Raw show, on pay-per-view, culminating in this match at SummerSlam with Seth Rollins for both the US and WWE title. They were really playing up that John Cena might win number 17 on the show. Or number 16, actually. No, was it 17? No, it was 16. He would have tied the record with Ric Flair. He broke the record this year when he beat Ric Flair's record. But anyway, that would have been at WrestleMania this year, as we speak. But the match with Rollins was great. I mean, that match was so awesome watching that live. The entire show, I liked being there. That was actually my first WWE pay-per-view as a fan, and it was a lot of fun to attend. I have fond memories of the entire experience. But really, it was all about that match that stole the show, I thought, which we'll talk about in the SummerSlam main events listing next week. I thought that the, Taker and Brock match in the main event was very good. This was what stole the show for me. One of the bright spots on the show that was very long and loaded with a lot of decent to mid matches. This was excellent. So I want to go A on this. I really do. I want to go S, but I might just go A. It's definitely top of A. It might get moved to S. I know a lot of people were not high on the whole Jon Stewart ending where he interfered and cost Cena the win. Again, did we really need to protect John Cena that way? Could Rollins not just win clean or via another way? It was kind of silly, but it was exciting to see because at least Rollins won. Now, granted, he did lose the United States Championship right back to Cena the following month in Night of Champions and then lose the rematch. So he lost every match against Cena after this. That's the funniest thing. Cena beat Rollins on Raw a few weeks before SummerSlam. SummerSlam was the only time where Rollins beat Cena. I think they've had a ton of matches. They had matches in 2014, 2015. Cena beat Rollins every fucking time. At least when Rollins won, though, it was when it mattered most on this show for both belts. That was the positive. But the match was great, so I'll put it at the top of A for now. Might move it to S. 2016 is top of S. We're not even wasting time with this one. The match with AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2016 is not only the best SummerSlam match in John Cena's career, it legitimately might be one of his best matches ever. And they had 3 matches. I prefer this one personally over the Royal Rumble one, which was special. I know Cena has talked about and AJ's talked about how they never left the ring and all this other sort of stuff. That match is great. I think the SummerSlam match was more impactful because, the Royal Rumble match was where John Cena finally beat AJ, becomes a 16-time world champion. Very special stuff. But at SummerSlam, during their second match, and the Money in the Bank match was also excellent in its own right, at SummerSlam was where AJ Styles really, truly arrived. Officially arrived in WWE. Like, he had great matches earlier in the year with Chris Jericho, and then with Roman Reigns, even beating Cena at Money in the Bank. He beat him clean as a sheet on this show, following what was already an amazing match, kicking out of an AA off the top rope, which was insane specifically for AJ to have done, a guy that was not overly protected. And this really was what led to him becoming WWE champion soon after on the SmackDown brand. So, again, I just love this match. I love the fact that AJ won. I love the fact that AJ won clean. And their chemistry is unmatched. Like, Cena has great chemistry with a lot of people. I think the AJ one isn't looked at as fondly as the Punk matches because the Punk feud was better and they had way more matches. Cena and AJ, I think, only had 4 matches. They had the 3 on pay-per-view. I think they also had like a rogue singles match on SmackDown in 2018. But the only 3 main matches they had were in 2016, 2017. So Punk and Cena have had a lot more. But I think the chemistry that Cena and Styles have is just so fucking special that it deserves a nod here for being the best of any John Cena SummerSlam match ever. I'm sorry. And then the last 2 here were not overly great. Him and Baron Corbin was kind of ended the run of John Cena losses at SummerSlam. If you noticed, every match that John Cena had from 2012 through 2016, he lost. Or 2011, actually. He lost to Punk in 2011. He lost to Punk again in 2012 in that triple threat. Was not pinned, but he lost. 2013, he lost to Bryan. 2014, he lost to Brock. 2015, he lost to Rollins. 2016, he lost to Styles. 2017, he finally won at SummerSlam. albeit against Baron Corbin. This was the official burial of Baron Corbin. He did go on to win the United States Championship and do some other cool stuff in WWE. But Baron Corbin, for a guy that had a lot of momentum and was seemingly doing well for himself, getting over, was at one point Mr. Money in the Bank, had his entire main event trajectory flushed down the toilet in maybe the matter of days. I think what happened, it was on the go-home show, I think, for SummerSlam. Corbin was Mr. Money in the Bank. He won the briefcase 2 months earlier. Attempted to cash in on Jinder Mahal. I think, again, like I said, I think days before SummerSlam, Cena thwarted the attempt. Jinder pinned Corbin in seconds. It was terrible. It was awful. And then they had a match at SummerSlam that you would think, okay, Cena ruined his cash-in, Corbin gets his win back. He didn't! In the most uneventful John Cena SummerSlam match ever. This is easily, it wasn't like a terrible match, but it felt like a glorified burial of Baron Corbin. They didn't work as well together as I hoped. They had a match on SmackDown earlier in the year that I thought was good enough. This was not that. This just felt like they were going through the motions. This was really like the beginning of the end of John Cena in the ring as far as him just showing up and phoning it in. I hate to say, but it was. And the outcome was just terrible. Cena benefited not at all, but they needed for him to win here so he could go on to face Roman Reigns in No Mercy the following month and have a win under his belt, not lose to Baron Corbin. So this was a complete waste of John Cena, a complete waste of Baron Corbin. It was completely counterproductive. And then finally, we get to him and Roman Reigns. I just mentioned Roman Reigns. They had that match in No Mercy 2017, but it was not until 2021 that they feuded once more, this time with Roman Reigns firmly as the heel, John Cena back as the part-timer. John Cena's real formal, his first formal singles match on a pay-per-view, I think since 2018 when he faced Triple H at Super Showdown. Because he didn't wrestle a crown jewel that year. 2019, he only wrestled on TV. 2020, he had the match with Bray at Mania, but that was like the COVID match, and he lost and then disappeared for the rest of the year. And then he came back when crowds returned in the summer of 2021. So yeah, his first real singles match in a while. Didn't look great out there, but I thought he looked decently enough. I liked the match. Being there personally, being there in attendance to see it live, I liked the match. People say it has not aged well. It was very much a, finisher fest, spam fest, whatever. And, Cena said, I thought their first match might have been even better than this one, actually. I'd have to go back and watch them both. The fact that Roman won was really the key here. John Cena winning, number 17, would have been dumb in the middle of Roman Reigns' big Tribal Chief run as Universal Champion. And then Brock came back right after this match, which was also special, kind of overshadowing the match itself. But I like the match. So I'm going to go above Jericho, but below the Orton match, because people really do fondly look at that Orton SummerSlam match. So I'll go below that because I feel like Roman and Cena was not as good as that match, but it had to have been better than him and Jericho. Him and Jericho was a good match. I thought him and Roman was very good. Him and Orton was also very good, but probably more very good than that match. Grammatically, that doesn't make sense, but you understand what I mean. So I think that's our final ranking of John Cena's SummerSlam matches. We'll go through it one more time here. Maybe they'll switch some stuff around, but probably not, because I like the way this looks too, with 3 on top, 4-4, 2-2. Pretty even. I like that. Nonetheless, let's get right down to it here. John Cena's best SummerSlam matches. Or let me see. If I do 2 there, that would bring that down to 5. Brought one. I'm not going to move that. Yeah, I kind of like this the way it is. So we'll leave it right how it is. Anyway, John Cena's best SummerSlam matches. From worst to best, starting with the D category. Cena and Corbin, SummerSlam 2017. 2009, him and Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. C category. Cena and Booker T, best of 5 series, first match, United States Championship. John Cena and the rest of Team WWE versus The Nexus, SummerSlam 2010. B category, Cena, Big Show, Punk, triple threat for the WWE Championship, SummerSlam 2012. Chris Jericho, WWE Championship, SummerSlam 2005. Roman Reigns, Universal Championship, SummerSlam 2021. Randy Orton, WWE title, 2007. CM Punk, WWE Championship, Triple H special guest referee, 2011. Batista, first time ever matchup, SummerSlam 2008. Edge, WWE title, 2006. Seth Rollins for both the WWE and United States Championships, 2015. And now we get to the S category. Brock Lesnar, WWE title, SummerSlam 2014. Triple H is the special guest referee, but facing Daniel Bryan for the WWE title, defending against him, SummerSlam 2013. And finally, last but not least, the best John Cena SummerSlam match in my opinion, AJ Styles, one-on-one SummerSlam 2016. That is my last, my definitive ranking from first to last, best to worst, worst to best, what have you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want to fill out this list yourself that I created, check it out right now on tierlistmaker.com. Obviously, I did not include the Cody Rhodes match coming up in a few weeks, but maybe I'll edit this after that and include that match. So if anyone does this tier list in the future, they can include that match in their ranking. Hopefully it's in the upper tier of SummerSlam matches. I doubt it's better than any of these three. After that dud of a match they had at WrestleMania this year, I would be very surprised if it even cracked B. But at the very least, I hope their SummerSlam match coming up is better than these duds, specifically in the D category. I'm not even sure it will be, but it has to be better than the WrestleMania match, right? Right? Hopefully. Anyway, guys, check that out in the description box down below. More information on the WrestleRant All Access Pass channel membership also in the description box, in addition to every other episode in the playlist for WrestleRant Ranks. Check out all the other installments dating back to January. At the very least, guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel. All the support is greatly appreciated. And like I alluded to earlier, my current plan for next week's episode, the go-home episode before SummerSlam 2025, is to rank each and every SummerSlam main event ever. So keep an eye out for that here on the channel next Monday as part of WrestleRant Ranks. Until next time, guys, have an awesome one. Enjoy SummerSlam season. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.